Hello, my dear friends, and welcome back to another Sims 4 speed build. And today we're building something ginormous. I talked about this in my last speed build because I did a small apartment in the meantime, because I've been working on this giant lot for a while. Like, it took me quite a few hours. I think it took me about like 8 hours in total. So it was a big build. But it turned out great. I'm very happy with it. It's very fun. I love playing it. I've actually played in it, like played The Sims in it. I never do that, so I'm actually really enjoying this lot. Um, but anyway, today I'm showing you this big family farm on top of a hill that I've built, and I'm not gonna talk through this entire video because it's a long video, and I just can't talk for that long. My voice would not be happy with me if I did that. So I'm just gonna talk until I don't feel like talking anymore. Um, yeah, and then I'm just gonna play some nice cozy music for you. So you can watch this very, very long speed build. But I think it's very interesting. I did cut out a lot of things in this video because you know, otherwise the video would be even longer, like sped up without taking anything out. The video would have been like an hour and a half long. So I did take out quite a few things, like most of the landscaping, because that's exactly the same everywhere, and a lot of the cluttering, because cluttering takes a long time with me because I scroll through everything, scroll through debug 500 times just to find whatever I'm looking for. So I just cut out those parts so it isn't too overwhelming. But you can see everything that I put in the screenshots afterwards. And of course, you can download the build yourself to play in it. So you can see everything that I put in there. But yeah, I built this big farm in Henford on Bagley on the big 64 by 64 lot. I had never built on such a big lot before, but I thought it would just be fun to try out and play with some landscaping and terrain manipulation a bit, because I also have never really used terrain manipulation like properly. So I thought that would be fun, and I just had this vision of a house on a hill with a big farm surrounding it. So that's what I went for. The house itself is quite big. There's currently 4 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms, one guest bedroom downstairs with a bathroom, and upstairs there's the master bedroom with an ensuite bathroom, and then one bathroom and 2 bedrooms for the children, plus an office. And I kind of built this house with a family already in mind. Like, I wanted the family to have 2 children, um, one toddler and one child. And I didn't really have an idea of it, like the child being like a boy or a girl or whatever. I just felt like the children would both be very, rambunctious and always playing around and always having fun and playing in the dirt because they live on a farm. I don't know, it just fit the vibe. Um, and for like the decorating of their rooms, I wanted to put a bit of that uh, personality into their rooms as well, but mostly for the child because I feel like the child was able to pick their own decorations for their room already. And then the toddler room is mostly decorated by the parents, you know what I mean? And then I kind of just had this idea in mind of the parent while playing with this family that the parents would have a third child when the child turns into a teen, and then you can convert the office into like a baby room. That's kind of like the idea that I had in mind for this family. Um, so yeah, that's how I decorated it. The outside of the house is very rustic. I did do a lot of like greenery on the outside, and I played a lot around with that. Um, and then I did put a chimney on the outside, and I actually put the fireplace near the chimney this time. So, it works. Which I don't know, I thought it was fun. Um, On the first floor, I did try to have this kind of like closed off floor plan with a separate kitchen and such, but I did kind of have a tiny bit of an open floor plan between the dining room and the living room because I just felt like you have such a nice sunroom where I put the dining room. I want a bit of that light to also fall into the living room, you know? Um, so yeah, that's why. And I put a lot of like clutter and plants, especially. I used a lot of the plant kits in this build because I don't know, I felt like the people living here are farmers. They like gardening. Why wouldn't they have also a lot of plants inside their house instead of just on their land, you know? It makes sense in my brain. And I went for this general color scheme of like darker wood tones, very light beige tones, and then a lot of this like dark emerald green. I felt like this was such a beautiful color, and I just wanted to kind of have that come through the entire build a tiny bit, and I think it works pretty well. It doesn't look too overwhelming in my opinion. I think it actually looks pretty put together, which I think like at first I was afraid of doing a build like this because this kind of style of decorating can look very not put together and just all over the place, but I feel like it turned out quite well and it turns out to look like quite put together in the end. So I'm happy with it. And that emerald green is just the kind of color that I had through the entire lower floor. And then on the lower floor, there is a guest bedroom, and I turned that mostly green and brown, which looks very neutral. Like there isn't really any personality in that bedroom. It's very simple. I really wanted it to look like a guest bedroom, you know, like anyone could go in there. You could also definitely spruce it up a bit and have another child living there, or maybe turn it into the master bedroom or something like that because it's quite a big room. It's just as big as the master bedroom, I believe. Um, but yeah, I kept it very, very neutral and toned down, and there's not really any personality in there. And then the top floor, I gave every room a bit of their own aesthetic. The master bedroom, I went for yellow, which I don't really do often in builds. Like, not if it's not a children's room, you know? So, but I think it turned out really, really cute. I'm actually really happy with that. And then the toddler's bedroom is very neutral and very much like as if the parents decorated it, like I mentioned, which is like greens and whites and soft browns. And then the child has a very brightly colored blue and bright yellow room, which I think turns out really fun. It's just kind of like a color scheme for some reason I just tend to lean towards. Like I did this in like another build too, and I made like a children's room with a bit of like a periwinkle and orange color scheme, so it's quite similar. I don't know, blue and yellow just go so well together, and it looks so fun for a children's room without it being like very girly or very boyish or whatever. It's very neutral, but still very 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 colorful and very child friendly. Like I just thought it was cute. It made me happy. It's a cute color scheme, and I wanted to do it that way because it gave the house like an entire um realistic aspect to it. Because when I was like 10 or something, I was allowed to pick my own furniture and such and my own wallpaper, and I chose something very colorful and bright, and my parents kind of guided me towards that because it's fun. So it's very logical to me that a child having to pick their own room comes up with something like that. That's why the furniture in that room is also a bit more modern than the furniture in the rest of the house because I don't know, it gave me the vibe of like, okay, you're a child now. You want to decorate your own room. Let's hop over to IKEA and pick out some new furniture, and then just redecorate your room. And that's kind of the vibe that I went for. Um, and it also just is so realistic to me that the entire top floor, every single room looks different because they're different people. They're all sorts of different people with different likes and you know, different ages, so every room has a bit of a different aesthetic, and that just makes sense. Like in the entirety of the house, it doesn't fit together, but it does make it realistic in that sense. So I don't know, I just kind of like that. I just wanted it to be a big family house, and having such different rooms for all the children and the parents just makes sense to me. And just have the kitchen and the living room and the dining room be like one aesthetic that fits together. That, I don't know, that just made sense in my brain, so that's kind of what I went for with this house. And then the office on the top floor is very, very simple, very brown, very neutral. It really is like more of a space where the parents who are running this farm get to, keep all the papers on all the different farm animals and all their expenses or something like that. It is a very cluttered office. There's a lot of papers and boxes all over the floor. I don't know, it just felt like it because I feel like people who run a farm are meant to be like outside people working with animals, working in the dirt, and not really necessarily very organized people who also are very organized, head working on their paperwork and such. And I just felt like having such a bit of a cluttered office just made sense. And it's just kind of more of a space where the parents go to at the end of the day to just make some notes, look at their administration for the farm, and then go to bed. Um, so it's very simple, and it's a very lovely small room. And I feel like maybe if you want to play it the way I do, with the family getting another child later on, it is a really great sized room to turn into a baby room. And then I feel like you can definitely use the guest bedroom as a new sort of office. Um, it's a bit of a big room for an office, but you can definitely just change it out a bit and make it in like guest bedroom slash office slash clutter room, that kind of vibe. So I feel like this family farm is definitely realistic for like expanding families later on, for like an entire living through an entire generation of people in this house, because also there is that guest bedroom at the lower floor. Like once you don't need the baby room anymore, and maybe one of the children has gone out of the house and the parents have gotten older, there is a lovely bedroom for them on the lower floor with a bathroom. So when all the children have left and the people that still live here are like elders, they don't have to walk up the stairs every single day. So it's just very realistic in my mind. It just makes sense. And I'm really happy with how it turned out. I feel like the house looks very cluttered and lived in, but still also very clean and with a lot of space. And the outside, I just had a lot of fun playing with the outside of the house and decorating that and putting all the different plants along the house and such. That was a lot of fun for me. I did cut out a lot of the landscaping, like I mentioned, because a lot of it is the same. Like once I finish building the house in this video, I just raise the foundation a lot, and then I work on raising the ground with the terrain manipulation tools around it, and I just built like a hill surrounding the house, and then the house itself is just a tiny bit higher than um, the backyard of the house. And then on that same level that the backyard is, there's also um, a lovely big place for people to grow vegetables and such. And then you have even lower levels, and there's a chicken coop and uh, a shed for a, like I turned it into a cow shed, but of course you can put a llama in there as well. And then there's also a big greenhouse on the land, so there's a lot of space for your sim to just have fun, do gardening, do. I added like a flower arranging station from Seasons, so that's something that your sims can do as well. It's just a lot of like skill building. I made sure to put a lot of skill building things in the house. I put multiple computers in the house. There's like an easel somewhere on the land. There is a chess table somewhere on the land. Um, There's loads of gardening you can do. I also put a lot of like the bunny houses and the bird houses, so your Sims can make friends with like the bunnies and the birds, which is really cute. I love that aspect of cottage living. And then, of course, you have all the different animals, and there's just a lot of things to do for your Sims on this property. It's fun. I also added the swing set and the monkey bars in the backyard because I felt like, especially the child was such a like rambunctious, fun-loving child who was always playing around, maybe playing in the dirt, and would definitely love just swinging on the monkey bars and having fun outside. So I wanted to add those things in there. The backyard also has a nice little kind of like patio platform area with a table, with like an outside dining table and a grill, so you can have dinners outside, which is also fun. I also definitely did not forget to add um, a toddler potty in the general bathroom upstairs, and I added uh, a mailbox. I didn't forget to add a mailbox this time, and a trash can inside the house and outside the house. So we're all covered on that. The house is functional as far as I've play tested it. Things may be like a tiny bit different in the screenshots from the thing that is uploaded on the gallery because I did the screenshots first and then I play tested the build. Um, and then I maybe made some tiny adjustments so it works better. And then I uploaded it to the gallery. So the build on the gallery might be just a tiny bit different, but it's mostly just a layout thingies in the backyard so you can walk past more easily, those kinds of things. Nothing drastic. But yeah, there's a lot to do on this piece of property. I had a lot of fun with it. Um, I love that I've been talking for so long and we still have not even finished the inside of the house, but that's fine. There's a lot going on. Um, Once the inside of the house is finished, I go on to doing the terrain manipulation and the landscaping. I also, besides adding like the big hill that the house is on, I also made like two river thingies along the edge of the property. So it's kind of a bit more locked in, and it filled up the property a bit more because filling up a 64 by 64 lot is a task. That is quite difficult to do. There's just so much going on. Um, so I wanted it to look like natural and also like filled up and not too empty. So that's why I added those kind of river thingies, and I added a little pond in the center with some duckies and just loads of plants. I cut out most of that because everything is the same that I did with the plants. I just used like those low-lying flowers, low-lying pale flowers or something, and ferns and daisies and some more things like four or five different plants, and I just used those all over the property where I felt like it needed to be covered up, like along the edge of the rivers and the pond and the edges of the hill everywhere that was a bit empty. I added some of those plants and I just covered up a lot of that. So it looks very overgrown and very fun, but there are like obvious pathways all over the property. You can get everywhere very easily. It looks a bit overgrown, but not like too overgrown that it's messy. It just looks like natural, like nature is there. It's the farm, but also they took a bit of time to make the landscaping look nice. That's the vibe I was going for. So yeah, I did cut out most of the landscaping because, like I said, it's just those five plants and then all over the property. So you can see that in the screenshots, and you can see that when you download the build. You can now find me on the Sims 4 gallery under Bottle of Gaming. I changed my EA ID because, I, s- I made my EA ID a few years back when I first downloaded The Sims, and I wasn't really planning on recording videos or anything. So um, I just chose an EA idea that made sense for me. And now I changed it up to Bottle of Gaming so it matches my channel, so it may be a bit more easy to find. But you can find all the details to this build in the description down below, like the link to the gallery, um, the price, anything that you might need to know. You can find down below if you want to download this build as well and maybe play in it or maybe redecorate it or anything like that. I don't really think I have much else to say about this build. I'm sorry the video is so incredibly long. I did try to cut out loads of useless things, like most of the cluttering I just shortened a bit because I didn't want to add in a bit of cluttering because I feel like that's one of the most fun things to watch personally. But it also can be so tedious because I go through all the things that I can choose for so long and so long, and I don't really end up choosing anything, for example. So it's just um, a bit all over the place. It takes a long time, so that's why I did not really include all of the cluttering, but just a tiny bit because I feel like it just adds so much more to a build, all the clutter. And I don't know, I couldn't really leave everything out of this speed build. And then I did want to show a tiny bit of the landscaping so you know what I've been doing. So I did leave in a bit of that. But yeah, I did try to cut out anything that was mostly unnecessary. But still, I spent 8 hours on this build, so the video is gonna be long. So I'm really sorry about that. Um, I hope you still enjoy the video and let me know what you think of this very big build. I don't think I'm gonna be doing such a big build anytime soon in the future because, man, that was getting on my nerves at one point. It was a lot of fun, but it also was stressful and it took a long time, which is strange. So yeah, I hope you enjoy it. Let me know what you think of the build. Are there any things that you would have done differently? Like, I would have loved to hear your feedback as well. After I finish building the house, I go over to the landscaping so you can see a bit of that and how that works. And then after that, at the end of the video, there are some screenshots as well, so you can maybe get a bit more of a close-up look to the build, which may be nice. So stick around for that if you want to see them. And I think that's going to be it from me today. I'm just going to give you some nice comfy music to listen to for the rest of the video because I feel like I'm losing my voice right now. So I really should stop talking. Any information that you need to know can be found down below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. All my socials, my beauty blog and Instagram and YouTube and everything can be found down below, so you can check that out as well. And that's gonna be it from me today. I want to thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Toodles!